Hello, we are here with a new trio of episodes, and this time we are going to have sort of like The Conjuring, where the three of them all tie together very closely. We are covering the Amityville house. Amy and I watched this documentary on YouTube. It's called the Amityville Horror Documentary. Documentary is in parentheses, and it's around 120 minutes. Once you get halfway through, you'll see it kind of looks like it ends, but it restarts again with a second part to it. So somebody took the two parts and stitched it into one video. Obviously, these are just our opinions when we get to them. But this one, I think, it's been so long since I've seen the movie or anything about the story that I kind of wanted to cover something obviously true crime, but more factual because I don't even really remember the stories. In fact, when this started and they had Kathy and George Lutz on, I thought to myself, I thought they died. So clearly, I needed a refresher.
Yeah, like you said, time to refresh.
Yeah. This part one, as I said, it included the Lutzes, and Ed Warren was in it a little bit. He's more in part two. Hans Holzer was in part one, and I think a couple of phrases in part two. I really like some of the stuff that he did. So I was surprised to see him, but in a good way. There were some cool, just like some weird facts about the house and the area. So Amityville is outside of New York City. I think it said maybe an hour, but I can't remember. Will Rogers and Annie Oakley both lived there, which just little fun facts. And then the house, it's on Ocean Avenue. Some of these, actually, I feel like a lot of these are not able to be confirmed. So take this with a grain of salt. It's reported that, and I didn't want to butcher the Native American name, so I'm just going to say that there was a native tribe that they thought that that street in particular, or that area surrounding the house, was like a power spot and possibly infested by demons, that their enemies were left to die and buried face down so that they were cursed to stare at nothing for eternity. Again, I don't know if that's true. It was in the
That's
document.
harsh.
Yeah,
That's harsh.
totally. Going into the Salem witch trials. So those were in the late 1600s. There was a guy named John Ketchum. He was forced out of Salem because they said he was practicing witchcraft. It's rumored that he lived in that area surrounding the Amityville house. Supposedly, he continued doing witchcraft when he was there, and his body may be buried on the property. Again, none of that's completely verified, but interesting. There is a Ketchum Street right near the house. I don't know.
I mean, that could easily be found out. We
Yeah,
do have tools that you don't even have to dig the ground up anymore.
true. I wonder if they've ever tried to look. I don't know.
I'd like for them to.
Yeah, they definitely didn't cover that.
Just because.
Yeah. And then there was a different house built on that property originally in 1782. The house was moved, and there are debating issues. It was reported that the house was moved because people wouldn't live there very long and it kept having a turnover. However, the Historical Society says that the house was moved because the family needed a bigger house. So then they built this bigger house. I don't know. They're all rumors, I guess. There's also a rumor that a boy drowned. There's water, right? The house is on a body of water or some kind of, where you can have a boat big enough that you can have a boat. And it's
Right, because
rumored
they
that,
had the little boathouse out there.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a rumor that a boy drowned, but again, uh, it's not confirmed. It's just something that I do remember that being in the movie, I think. I don't know, but
Yes.
oh, it was? Okay. I have to rewatch the movie for our 3rd segment for the horror episode.
Yeah, they had the little boathouse in there and all, because remember they had the storms coming in and he went down to try to secure it.
I don't
And
remember. I
then they
haven't
started having activity down there.
oh, I haven't seen the movie in at least probably 30 years. I don't even remember.
It's been hard for me too. It scared me when I was younger. I remember it scared me, so I remember some of those parts because I was like, "Whoa, that's wild."
I don't remember if it scared me, but probably not because 'cause I'm a weirdo.
In fact, I asked Shannon after last night. He didn't watch it with me. I watched it by myself, but I was telling him that this was a pretty good documentary, and I was like, just having a fun little conversation. Did this story and movie and everything that happened scare you when you were younger? And you know what he said?
No.
Yes. Yes, he said it did. So that kind of surprised me too. I was like, well, it scared me as well.
I wish I
I didn't
remembered.
expect him to say yes.
Yeah. I don't have no idea if it scared me.
It did me, I remember. And I was so drawn to the way the house looked. Everyone who portrayed it, the lights were always on up there. They did really good with that. There was just a way to draw you in, to me. It always did.
Well, the house
Um,
kinda looks like it has eyes.
and they made it look like that in every picture that you would see of it too. I agree with you. It just gives the house a certain look.
Right.
It's the excuse me, it's the Amityville Horror House. When you see the old iconic look, you know what it is. There's no question.
Oh, yes, and that's why I love it. I know I've always wondered I mean, it looks different now. I've always wondered if they were gonna tear it down and start over.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, won't we? Now, if we go back to the start, in the summer of 1965, the DeFeo family, they had 5 children. That's when they purchased this home. Oldest son, Ronnie, killed the parents, brothers, and sisters. Now, he was close to his mother, but not close at all with his father. He was considered to be spoilt, and he just kind of, I guess, wasn't really he didn't amount to much. He wasn't a go-getter. I don't wanna speak bad of him, but it just kinda seems like he was out partying instead of trying to better himself at the time of his age. But maybe it was just a phase, I don't know, but it did, I really think, bother his dad. They did not see eye to eye, and they totally did not agree. 1973, the violence and abuse that escalated, and Ronnie also said that he was hearing voices and noises and walking around and a lot of screaming. His dad started hitting the mom, hitting the kids, and at that point, Ronnie starts going out. He's doing a lot of different drugs, a lot of speed, heroin, LSD. All of this craziness that he was experiencing in his life ended him to threaten his sister Dawn with a gun, which his dad was able to stop. And luckily, that gun did not have any bullets in it. His dad put artifacts around the house, around the yard. A priest was said to have come and done an exorcism, but there is no record of that actually happening. And that is from the Catholic Church. Nobody could actually go back and say, yes, it was done, or no, it was not done. Dad would say that he had a devil on his back to others, talking about Ronnie. The housekeeper said Miss DeFeo would always tell her something bad was going to happen, like she was possibly having a premonition. Ronnie, he would move in and out of the home. His dad would spend money to go looking for him to bring him back to the home. I'm not sure exactly where he would be each time, but his dad made sure that he did go find him no matter what the cost was and get him back. Why he had such a need to feel the control to bring him, I don't know. It just kind of seems like maybe by this point you would have considered it a lost cause and let him kind of go make his own fall and let him come back on his own. Wouldn't you think so?
It
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
sense. Why do you
No,
keep
and
having him come back if it's volatile?
yeah, I don't understand that at all. Now, in November of 1974, Ronnie and his dad got into a fight, and his dad referred to Ronnie as the devil. Ronnie says if he doesn't get out, that he is going to actually kill the family. And on November 13th of 1974, while the family was sleeping, Ronnie was watching army movies and he said he heard the family whispering and thought they were conspiring to kill him. Black appeared to him and supposedly handed him a gun. He shot his father, Ronald, then he shot his mother, Louise. He said that he was not able to stop. He then proceeded to shoot his brother Mark, who was 11, his brother John Matthew, who was 9, his younger sister Allison, who was 13, and then his older sister Dawn, who was 18. Ronnie reports the murders himself, and then he also confesses. Trial is 1 year later, and he tried to say that he was insane. He was actually found guilty of 6 counts of second-degree murder and that he was sane. He ultimately got 25 to life for each one of the murders that he did commit. There were no traces of drugs in the family system. There was no silencer on the gun, and no one woke up. No one heard anything. Also, when we go back to what Don had spoke about with the Native Americans and everything that had been said to or believed to have happened on that property, or what was believed to have happened on that property, the Native Americans said that they are going to dispute that there is any burial grounds there or there was ever any sort of curse.
Yeah, and back to no one hearing anything. None of the neighbors woke up. Also, I do find it odd, say when he shoots his dad first, why does no one else in the house wake up? That is weird to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm assuming they're saying that nobody woke up because they were laying in a certain position. So why didn't the mom wake up?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it was right beside you, right beside you. Now, back to the drugs in the system of the rest of the family. Of course, they were found to be negative. There was nothing in their system. But in 1999, Ronald does say that he was using drugs and he tries to use that as an excuse. He said that a killer came into the home, killed his family. That was really not believed. Nobody bought what he was trying to sell, and his request for parole was denied.
Uh, Good idea.
Yeah. It doesn't even make sense. I was doing drugs, and then somebody broke in and killed them all.
While I sat there awake.
Were Did you no, wait, are you meaning you took the drugs and you were knocked out? Oh, well, looks like we just must have forgot we got him.
Right. He
I
was
mean,
the only one that they didn't kill.
well, no, they forgot. We got him. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, and clearly that's why he was denied parole.
Yeah, they're like, "Man, we'll give you how many ever years to try to figure something better, and then we'll deny you again."
Right?
Yeah,
Keep going.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So fast forward to the Lutzes. In December of 1975, George, he was 28 at the time, and Kathy, who was 30. Kathy had 3 kids. There were 3 no, 2 boys, Daniel, he was 10, Christopher 7, and Melissa was 5. So they moved in, and their friends suggested that they have this priest, they call him Father Ray, bless the house. So Father Ray came in, and this is what he said he experienced at the time when he did the house blessing. So he said that he went into the sewing room and it was very cold. So he told them, don't spend too much time in this room. He also heard while he was spraying holy water, no big deal.
Mm.
He heard "Get out," and then he says something slapped him in the face. So I kind of feel we've talked about police reports before and how we think that they're pretty reputable. Why would a cop lie about something that is probably going to be perceived as weird among their cop friends? I don't know. I kind of feel like the same with a priest. It would be weird for them to lie about this.
Okay, but let's rewind to not too many episodes ago where I spoke about wet carpets and $400 rent. Big beautiful home,
Yep.
$80,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, big beautiful home gets smacked in the face, "Get out, $80,000."
Yeah.
Not worth it to me, but maybe to some.
Right. And I'm not saying it could never happen because look at some of the things priests do to little kids. So
Oh,
listen,
yeah. Ugh.
I'm not saying a priest can't lie, but I would hope they wouldn't. I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that in there. All right. So the Lutzes move in. And they say that from day one, they were hearing sounds and it would be escalating. Where at first they thought the sounds were just like, oh, that was kind of weird, but maybe it's an old house sound, whatever. But then the sounds started to change and they became like very loud banging, scraping on the walls. The kids were starting to get scared. They'd see things. So the way that they described it was there would be multiple people sitting like on the couch together, but they'd each see something different. They'd see something, all of them, but what they saw wasn't the same as the person sitting next to them, which I thought was interesting.
Terrifying
George,
too.
yeah, right? Little odd.
How do you explain what and yeah, crazy. Almost like it's trying to make you feel like you're crazy.
Right. That's a good point. And then George, for some reason, he became obsessed with the fireplace. I guess he was like obsessed with the firewood, just
He was
super,
cold.
super focused. Yeah, because he couldn't get warm.
Mhm.
hmm And then they reported that all of their personalities started changing. The temperature changes all throughout the house were happening. They would smell perfume in the bathroom. They said that there would be black stains on the wall. And then the infestation of flies in the winter. And I believe it was that same sewing room. But they said they would have a bunch of flies, they could leave the room and come back and there would be even more, but, since it's the winter, it's even more odd. They went in the basement. I actually think it was Kathy, but now I can't remember for sure. Went in the basement and there was a shelving unit. So they moved it over. There was a room behind it. It was painted red, and their dog, they had a lab, their dog wouldn't go near the room. It was like terrified of this room. George started waking up every night at 3:15 a.m., which was the same time that the murders happened, I guess. So Kathy was now having nightmares about the murders every night. Missy, the daughter who was 5, she all of a sudden had an imaginary friend named Jody. George was hearing escalated sounds again, slamming. He would go into the room where Misty would be talking about Jody and the rocking chair would be going. Creeper. He went around, he was doing the Lord's Prayer all around the whole house, and he heard a voice say, "Will you stop?" So they tried to get a hold again of Father Ray, but oddly, they couldn't, multiple attempts, they couldn't get a hold of him. there was always sort of interference or static, or the phone wouldn't dial, things like that. So they literally just couldn't get a hold of Father Ray to come bless the house. Now, this documentary looked older. It didn't have a year, but
Mhm.
as of that interview, they said that they had never discussed openly what happened the night that they left, but that it is included in a book that was written that they sort of contributed on. 28 days after moving in, January 14th, 1976, they abandoned the house. They abandoned all their belongings. They turned it over to the bank. The bank sold their belongings for only $1,600, and the family moved to California. All they took with them was one cedar box that had all their photos in it, and that was that.
Can we stop and talk about what their belongings actually were that were in that house?
Oh, I didn't notice.
All of the DeFeo belongings.
Oh, how did I miss
It co
that?
it come with the house. So good riddance, $1,600 is a steal.
Oh, I didn't know. Evan was doing dishes. I think I missed it.
Yes. Come on now, Evan. No, seriously, I'm messing with you. But yeah, the all of everything when the house was sold, it had everything left. Like, I don't believe you had the mattresses, but you had the bed frames that the
Oh,
family passed away on. They were
yikes.
murdered on. Yes.
Oh,
So when you say belongings, okay, yeah, they had their clothes and their toys or whatever they did bring from their previous life, but I'm guessing because this was probably some really nice furniture that was in a very nice house when they moved in, they kept a lot of it and maybe got rid of the things that they had before. So a lot of those belongings were the DeFeos.
okay. I feel like I would move into a house where a murder took place,
Mhm.
but I would not want the belongings.
No, that brings a whole different level to it. Like, all of that is still carrying I can't say all of it was carrying, but all of it has the potential, just like Jason Hawes said, to still carry the energy that is left over from what happened in each of those rooms, each of those beds, underneath that roof. All of it has the potential to hold on to every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly kind of glad that this documentary, well, I'm gonna say for what I think in the end that I'm gonna say my opinion is on this whole case, I'm glad that they split it up in one side true crime and one side paranormal. And that'll make sense when I go into what I think was actually going on. I guess we'll say. Who cares what I think, but I'm gonna tell you anyways.
Well, and the second half is more paranormal, but not
Yes,
really. It more talks about all the controversies, but you have to,
it kinda dives more into the paranormal side, though.
yeah, but you have to include that when you're talking about these controversies. So if someone's thinking about watching it and they're like, "Oh, I'm not really interested in the paranormal aspect," it is, but it's also not. It's not fully
Yeah.
paranormal.
Well, with this case, it's really hard to, unless you just wanna look completely at the DeFeos, it's hard to look at the Amityville story and not put, even a little bit of paranormal into it because you have what happened with the Lutz. Now, if you just want to speak about the murder that happened at Ocean Avenue, you can go ahead and just talk about the true crime story of the DeFeos. But of course, this documentary is a little bit more than that.
Well, and
So,
when we were looking for things to watch, it was really hard to find something that was strictly true crime and not just paranormal. So this is kind of the only thing that we found that was more true crime.
I'm not going to mention any names of what you had me watching before or where it come from, but how long was that? Over an hour?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I watched 25 minutes of it and actually paid attention, and I don't think I could tell you what happened in those 25 minutes.
Yeah, so most of the things that you're gonna find are either movies or documentaries, but they're all only about the haunting. So if
Yeah.
you're more interested in the true crime aspect, then watch this one on YouTube.
Right. If you want to hear what happened beforehand as well as what happened in the, we're going to say, big lights that they made the big story, you're going to want to know what happened. Like I'm going to say a many a times, you cannot have paranormal without history. So that's just kind of how they go hand in hand with this case.
Yeah,
Or what I think. But let's go back to the Lutz. The Lutz asked the DeFeo attorney, William Weber, if he had had any knowledge of any weird things going on at the house. He did not believe them, but he decided to help write a book about Ronnie. They wanted to talk about if he was possessed or not. Was he a murderer, or was this something that he had no control over? Lutz refused to work with Weber because Ronnie would get book money. They didn't want to put money into his pockets. Now, press conference with Lutz and Weber brings people flocking to the house. Of course, you can only imagine the things that people are thinking, and they want to see this big, crazy, scary demon house, pretty much. It's not called the demon house, but a lot of people would think that that's exactly what it is. George contacts paranormal researchers, including Stephen Chaplin and his wife Roxanne. George cancels paranormal investigations. They think that it's controversy. A lot of people are looking at it and probably thinking that it's not something that is needed to be done, and it's probably more a little bit taboo. We all know how that goes, especially if you are interested in paranormal investigating, or you by chance are a paranormal investigator like Dawn and I.
correct one thing. It's
Yeah.
Stephen Kaplan. You said Chaplin, but I
Kaplan.
want to make sure we get that right. Kaplan. Yep,
Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. I definitely do not want to say a name wrong. Now, Kathleen, see, look at me, I'm
Kaplan.
messing it up again. Now, Kaplan says everything is fake and there is nothing paranormal about this house, that it's just probably a murder and they're faking everything because the Lutz want attention, they want money. They find researcher Laura DiDio and also reach out to the Warrens. That's 3 weeks after they left the house. The Lutz were looking for somebody to help them understand what was going on. February 25th, 1976, the Warrens investigate the house with a camera crew. Now, Lorraine said the house was sad and had a very depressing feel. Ed said he saw an inhuman presence in the basement. 10 out of a 10 haunting. It was active. They really believed that something was going on there. March 6, 1976, they returned with the news crew and Laura and other researchers. Now, reporters asked for a seance, and they did a couple of them. Reporters said nothing weird happened and said the movie was scarier than actually being at the house. Someone caught a child in a photo, says the press. It was changed and exaggerated about what had happened. They didn't exactly tell the truth about the photo. Exactly like you'll hear us say, exaggeration and all the hype, it sells and it makes money. The Kaplans, Warrens, and Lutzes were always very combative, and they were saying that this was not true. Nothing was fake, and nothing that they said was a lie. Now, attorney Weber contacts Hans Holzer a year after the Lutz family moves. I don't know if any of you have watched his show, but I do love watching all of the recordings. What's the
It's the Holzer Files. Oh my
Holzer
gosh, one of
Files?
my
Yes.
favorite.
Yes, 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 yes. I didn't know if any of you have watched it, but that is a really good show. Her and medium Ethel go to the house and she picks up negative energy. Historical Society says a native chief was dug up, and Holzer says that the chief influenced DeFeo. Kaplan says Holzer was lying just to write a book again, again, again. this kind of thing, it sells and it makes money. Now, Kaplan and DeFeo's attorney accused Lutz of plotting the whole thing and making money off the DeFeo story. The Cromartie family moved in and sued for constant media and investigators visiting. But we've said this before, if you buy a home like this, that's kind of something that you have to expect from the get go. Weber sued Lutz for taking some of his ideas and putting them into the film. The Lutz both passed polygraphs, though, about the activity. So I don't know. I don't know how to look at that. Everybody says they're lying. People think that it's all being brought up to a way bigger boiling point than it is just for money. But you have the lie detector test that the Lutzes pass.
And they were given by professional lie detector people who were, I think they said, the third rated highest lie detector people. I don't know what you call them in the country,
I mean, when you go to the country, number three is not bad.
right?
There's a lot of companies that do that. But the thing about this home now, it looks different. It's been changed on the way it looks on the outside and has a new address. Sure that the people that live there, is it still the same family?
Actually, I'm not sure who lives there now.
I'm not sure either. But I'm guessing new address, new looks, still the same old song and dance.
Oh, I'm sure. But to your point, it's wild that someone moved into this house and then sued the Lutzes because of all the media attention. What? And I think what I recall, they settled out of court. I would have been like, you knew what you were getting into. Sorry, don't know what to tell you.
When you bought this home, it was in the disclaimer, my friend.
Right? So
Yes.
weird.
Yeah, you knew where you were going.
Yeah.
They knew where the Lutz knew where they were going.
If you like peace and quiet, don't buy a famous house. Done.
Mm,
So simple.
plain and simple.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. As for money talks, do I think that it's quite possible that maybe there was some truth stretched? Yeah, I do. What do you think?
I'm sure. I mean, actually, the Lutzes admitted that in the book things were exaggerated and in the press, but they did say that things in the press were exaggerated by the press. They don't have
Mhm.
control over that. They didn't write whatever came out or whatever videos came out. So that was outside of their control. So, yeah, things were exaggerated.
Yeah, I think probably more than what anybody really wants to admit. Fun question. Let's have fun for a minute. Do you think that the DeFeo case was a "The Devil Made Me Do It" series, maybe? Do you think there was paranormal activity going on there before the murders occurred?
Okay. Do I think Ronnie DeFeo was in a similar situation as Arnie? I think Ronnie DeFeo was a drug addict and was on drugs and killed his family.
I agree. I agree.
I'm not saying that there wasn't any paranormal activity, but they didn't say that anyone else in his family was reporting that kind of activity. So, if we're talking about native land, maybe there was paranormal activity, but no one else in his house really talked about it. But also, on the flip side of that, why would they? So maybe they were hearing things and maybe they were hearing voices and banging and all that as well. He's the only one who said that that stuff was going on. Now, when you're on LSD and you're on heroin and you're doing speed, you can hear those things in your mind and they're not happening. I feel like for him, And this first half of this story, which is the DeFeos, I think he was on drugs and killed his family, and that's that.
I agree 100%. I do not think we jump into a paranormal aspect of it until we go to possibly the Lutz moving in. That's
Right.
just my opinion. I really truly believe that possibly Ronnie had maybe schizophrenia or something like that. And then when you add in drug use, you are going to get a heightened experience of whatever mental disease you are dealing with. So I think that is probably why the murders occurred.
Or maybe even if he wasn't schizophrenic or didn't have any prior mental health issues, maybe he had a drug induced mental health episode, something.
Maybe, maybe. But I don't know, just something about watching it and listening kinda leads me to wonder or speculate if maybe, and I'm not a doctor, so don't come at me. I'm just curious and wondering if he possibly did not have a little bit of maybe later brought on schizophrenia from possibly drugs?
Maybe.
Drug-induced schizophrenia? I
Yeah,
guess that's how you would say it, isn't it?
sure. I'm not a doctor either, but sure, we'll go with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, yeah, I'm definitely not a doctor. You can hear me talk and realize that. But I don't know. It just seems like all of this was probably caused by drugs. And Ronnie or Ronald Sr. would have been better off if he would have just not went and got Ronnie, saved his money.
Yeah. And also, I feel very strongly that he was only having issues with his dad. So why did he kill everybody else? It had to be the drugs or a mental health issue because why would he kill it said he loved his mom very much and they were close.
Mhm.
And he had been, it said it in the documentary, protective over his siblings when his dad would go into violent rages. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that he killed his mom and his siblings as well. So that's another reason why I put a check in the mental health drug column.
I agree. I agree. Now, could what have happened from what transpired in that house, the murders, could that have caused, you have Native American land, you have, what do you know that that Native American tribe of that location believed to have happened there? Could something of that nature happen that is so negative, so evil? Could that have brought on paranormal activity to that home? It very well could have. I do also have questions about why has nobody else experienced anything, but we can also go back to sometimes you can put 20 people in a room having had a paranormal experience happen, you know it happened, and only one person actually experienced it, or either a handful, not everybody in the room. So could it go that way too? Possibly. There's just so
Yeah,
many different ways.
yeah. And I also feel like everything in this documentary kept saying, this isn't documented. We don't have proof. So it's just
Mhm.
hard to know anything with this story.
I agree. I agree. And to me, when you leave, we're just going to forget that any of that property or any of the items inside of the home was the DeFeos. We're going to forget that. But anytime that you can leave your home and leave all of your possessions and only leave with a little bit of amount, not even the things that you need to live your daily life, and not turn around or blink an eye, that tells me something serious happened.
Right. So I feel like then going into the Lutzes, obviously you have all of their possessions in the house. And there was a major murder incident with
Yes.
multiple people. So if I'm going with my gut tells me the first half of this story, which is the DeFeos, was not anything to do with paranormal. It was drugs, mental health. The Lutzes, I don't think it seems so far fetched for them to move into a house and say, oh, we're going to concoct this whole story and then a movie's going to be made and a book's going to get made. You can't predict that. Maybe no one would have paid attention to you, you know? So saying that the Lutzes premeditated and bought this house to come up with some scheme to get rich seems really far fetched to me. So
Unless it was set up already in the making for the movie and the book deal before they bought it.
there's no way. I don't believe
I
it.
don't I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying, could that have happened? I don't
Yeah,
know. But
it
I think
could.
it's wild to I can't leave this house right here and take a cedar box full of pictures. I couldn't do it.
Right.
See, so I don't know, that makes me wonder. That's a lot of money and a lot of things to be replaced. And you got $1,600 out of your home after the bank sold it. You put down what, 20,000?
Yep.
So who walked away losing? It's a lot to lose. And you probably know you're better about this thing than I am. How much did they make off these book deals and stuff?
I think they said it was, oh shit. I think it was a half $1 million, which listen, sure is a lot of money, but
Okay.
you pay taxes, you pay lawyers. I bet you it wasn't that much.
$20,000 and that still would have been more than $20,000. So they would have made their money back on the house,
Oh,
guaranteed.
yeah, they definitely made their money back. But again,
Is it worth all the trouble?
is it worth all the
Not
trouble?
for me.
Also, none of it was guaranteed, probably.
You're
So
very right.
I don't know.
I can I can start beating on the walls and running through this house and having shit, "Ooh," and hope that somebody sees it but it's more than likely they're not going to. It's
And
not
the
gonna happen.
reporter. So when they had the reporters come, the news, and then the reporter was like, "Oh, the movie was scarier, nothing happened." So
Right.
he went in it with an attitude like I do, which is I'm a skeptic, nothing's going to happen, the house makes noises. So,
Right.
you know, I, he went in bias. I will say that. He definitely went in as a skeptic. And I think that influences what you hear and how you interpret it. So I don't know. I want to say that there are just so many different opinions from people who've been at the house.
I'm not even going to look at the experience from the seances because I know all too well you can go to this place where you 100% know you're going to have some amazing activity. You get there and there's nothing. So I'm not going to even consider that as a possibility that they didn't have an experience because I know that that doesn't necessarily say that it's not paranormal. But that was something good to, I guess, look at.
That's a good point because let's go with it's paranormal. Maybe whatever entity or whatever is solely focused on George, wants George to kill his family, like the DeFeo family.
And it
And
was too many
so,
people there.
yep, too many people, other people that weren't the Lutzes. And so there was no activity.
I mean, yeah, I do think that that can possibly happen as well. Lorraine or someone else that has been to that property possibly put enough of a rest to it to where whatever it is has been buried. Or could possibly someone from that tribe, I don't know if anybody has visited the land to a shaman to maybe do something to instill peace upon that property. Because the Native Americans did feel that there was something to that. I don't know if it was that just certain property or that road. I think it was that. It was at street, wasn't it? Yeah, you said
Correct.
street, and they said street. So I don't know if a shaman maybe visited there, and that is beautiful, did what they had to do to maybe break the curse or the energy. That
Yep.
could possibly have happened. I don't know. So I mean, I just don't. I can't. I don't know. I don't know.
So the second half, the Lutzes, I'm gonna say I am definitely more prone to believing them than obviously Ronnie DeFeo. So
Mm,
I feel the same as Arnie, you know. I want to believe them because I, I don't know why. I know people are saying it was for the money, but I don't know why you would risk all that for possibly getting some money.
right. And I mean, we're all guilty of somebody saying this happened to them and it was paranormal and thinking, oh, there ain't no way that could have happened. But if you have an entity or spirit or whatever with enough energy, you might be surprised in some of the things they can do. So we don't know if maybe there was enough energy for entity to feed off of while the Lutz were living there, or what it was even feeding off of. So I can't say. Well, let's just say this. All I can say is anything's possible.
Yeah, and our next segment for this trio is going to be with Sean Austin, who's a paranormal investigator, and he's investigated that area. So
Nice.
I'm really excited to talk to him, and I haven't watched his documentary yet. The whole concept that he has and what he believes and everything will be completely new to me. So I can't wait to have him on and just hear the things that he got in that area.
Yeah. I agree. You can look at this case so many different ways. I just personally do not believe when you go to the DeFeo murders that it was paranormal. I just believe you had a troubled individual who just had too many drugs, just enough
And
to
the
push him over that edge.
Yeah, and the Kaplans. So I just want to say, I think it
I
was
butchered
Stephen,
their names so many times, the Kaplans.
whatever, Stephen and
Mhm.
Roxanne Kaplan. They just, every time they came on, they rubbed me the wrong way. And they were so insistent and negative Nelly. Like, you're paranormal researchers. You should be a little more open. That's my opinion on that. I don't know.
Right, because we are saying that we believe in something that we do not understand. So who's to say that what we believe in isn't capable of this or capable of that? I can't. I can't say that.
Yeah, it was
Maybe I
just,
haven't experienced that, but I can't say that it's not impossible because I have experienced some pretty incredible things before.
but their attitudes and the way they were just digging in each time that they were on screen of these people are liars, these people are making this up. I don't know, it just turned me off. That's all.
I get it.
Yeah. It leaned me towards being non-skeptical.
I don't know, I just couldn't go on TV and be like that because if they are, okay.
Yeah. And it's fine to be skeptical and it's fine to debate someone, but
Mhm.
to be so,
Ugly about it.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Be kind, guys. There's so much ugliness and negativity in this world. We need more love and compassion.
Yeah, and me as a skeptic, every time we talk, I'm open to other ideas. I'm not like, "No, this is not real. I'm a skeptic." So,
You've never told me I was crazy.
no, I would never. Just everyone be open to whatever, you know?
Absolutely. We're
because we
not
don't.
negative Nancy's over here.
No, no, we are not. My dog is going crazy. I don't know if you can hear her, but maybe
Is
that's our
Lily
cue.
hungry?
I don't know.
You didn't feed her this early already, have you?
I did. So no,
Oh,
shouldn't
it's
be.
it's usually, "Hold on, I'll be ready after I feed Lily."
I know. No,
It's
she
okay.
ate.
You
She
know what?
ate.
It's fine. She just wanted to say her little piece
Yes.
about the Amityville horror case. That's all she wanted. That's right, girl.
She's right outside my door. All right. Well, on that note,
She
I
wants
think
in here for this.
I know. I guess we're done. Oh,
I
all right. Well, anything we missed?
guess that was it.
Okay. Yeah.
Lily's last little "woof." That's all she
So
had.
next time we'll cover Paranormal with Sean Austin, and then obviously we're going to cover the movies. And I think we're going to do another comparison of the original versus the remake.
Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll meet back here in a week. Bye.
See you then.